Hey Stoic friends, welcome back to my channel. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you can shift the course of your life. If you don't control your emotions, someone else will. If you don't master your thoughts, the world will shape them for you. The world will test you. Life will throw chaos, doubt, pain, and fear your way. But if your mind is forged in discipline, nothing can break you. And if you don't take ownership of your mindset, you'll spend your life reacting to chaos instead of creating your own calm. But that ends right now. Because in this video, I'm going to share with you 6 brutal Stoic habits that will make you dangerously powerful. Not just strong, but mentally unshakable, emotionally disciplined, clear, focused, and completely immune to manipulation. These aren't gentle habits. These are battle-forged practices straight from the minds of warriors, like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. These men weren't soft. They didn't break when life hit hard. They trained their minds like gladiators train their bodies. They didn't complain. They adapted. They didn't fear hardship. They embraced it. They didn't crumble in judgment. They stood taller. When the world turned against them, they remained immovable. As Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. And he was right. Most of your stress, your worry, your pain, it doesn't come from the world. It comes from how you think about the world. But here's the good news. If your suffering starts in the mind, then your strength can start there too. These Stoic habits are not just philosophy. They are practical weapons. If you use them daily, you'll become the kind of person who commands respect without ever raising your voice. The kind of person who cannot be pushed, manipulated, or emotionally hijacked. You'll build a mind that's too solid to be shaken, too disciplined to be distracted, and too focused to fall apart. That's what this video is about. Becoming so mentally strong that life's storms feel like a light breeze. So, if you're ready to become the master of your emotions, the builder of your discipline, and the architect of your own peace, then hit that like button right now. Drop a comment below and tell me which Stoic principle speaks to your soul. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Stoicism Reborn. This channel isn't just about quotes, it's about transformation. Together, we're not just thinking like warriors, we're becoming them. Now, let's dive in. Number 1. Emotional detachment is your superpower. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Most people never realize this. They live at the mercy of whatever life throws at them. Someone says something disrespectful, they explode. A plan falls apart, they collapse. A little discomfort, and they lose control. But not the Stoic. The Stoic understands that emotional control is the highest form of strength. When you master your emotions, you become unshakable. And when you become unshakable, you become untouchable. Emotional detachment isn't about being cold, it's about being calm. It doesn't mean you feel nothing. It means you don't let what you feel control what you do. And that is power, real power. Detachment gives you space to choose your response instead of being a puppet to your emotions. When someone tries to provoke you, you don't react. You observe. You don't match their chaos. You remain still. That pause, that calm, that control, that's your weapon, that's your edge. The moment you start leading your emotions instead of being led by them, you step into a different league. You rise above manipulation, frustration, and distraction. The world loses its grip on you. You become grounded. You become dangerous. Not because you're aggressive, but because nothing can move you. When you feel anger boiling up, breathe. When fear starts to creep in, pause. When sadness tries to drown you, observe it, but don't identify with it. Feel everything, but be ruled by nothing. That's what Stoics trained for. They didn't just survive, they mastered themselves. They didn't waste energy on emotional outbursts. They conserved it for what truly mattered: purpose, discipline, action. This is how you become powerful. Not through loud emotions, but through quiet control. Not through reacting to everything, but through mastering what goes on within. Because once you own your emotions, no one else can. That's the secret. That's the foundation of every great Stoic life. So, practice stillness, practice detachment. Let your emotions pass like waves, but stay rooted like a rock. Stay focused, stay calm, stay in control. Because that calm is your superpower. Number 2, brutal self-honesty. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." But let's be honest. How can you react with power if you're lying to yourself? Most people walk through life blindfolded by denial. They blame others for their failures. They wrap themselves in excuses. They protect their ego with comforting lies, while their potential rots underneath. But the Stoic doesn't play that game. The Stoic stands face to face with truth. Brutal, raw, unforgiving truth. That's the only way to grow. You want to be powerful? Start by being honest. Radically honest. Ask yourself the hard questions. Are you disciplined or are you lazy? Do you take ownership or do you shift blame? Are you genuinely chasing your goals or just pretending to look busy? This kind of honesty hurts, but that pain is necessary. As Seneca said, a gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials. The truth cuts deep, but it also sets you free. Because once you see the real you, no masks, no filters, you can start to shape the person you were meant to become. Every day, reflect. Where did you fall short? What habits are dragging you down? What truths are you still avoiding? Write them down. Don't flinch. Don't justify. Own it. This is the work most people never do, and that's why most people never change. But if you want to rise, if you want to be unshakable, unbreakable, unstoppable, then you must be willing to burn away every lie, every illusion, every excuse. That's brutal self-honesty, and it's the beginning of real transformation. When you stop lying to yourself, clarity returns, discipline becomes real, focus sharpens, you stop playing the victim, and you start becoming the creator of your life. The world will try to deceive you. Don't help it by deceiving yourself. Truth is your sword. Use it. Cut through the noise, slice through the distractions, and face who you really are. Not to punish yourself, but to free yourself. Because only the honest can evolve. Only the honest can lead. Only the honest become dangerous. And when you commit to this kind of truth every single day, you don't just grow. You rise. You ascend. You become someone no lie can touch. That is brutal self-honesty. And that is the second Stoic habit that makes you dangerously powerful. Number 3, voluntary discomfort. Seneca said, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself the while, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" He wasn't being poetic. He was issuing a challenge, a command, a test of the soul. The Stoics didn't sit around hoping life would be easy. They didn't wait for pain to knock on their door. They walked into it willingly. They trained for chaos so they wouldn't crumble when it came. Why? Because comfort is a liar. It whispers sweet promises of safety and ease, but beneath that softness, it steals your strength. It dulls your discipline It makes you fragile. And in a world that throws storms at you without warning, fragility is fatal. Voluntary discomfort is the antidote. It means choosing hardship before hardship chooses you. Doing what's hard when you don't have to, so you're prepared when you do. Fasting when your fridge is full. Waking up early when no one's watching. Training in the cold while others sleep warm. Walking when you could drive. Sitting in silence when your phone begs for attention. This isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's a sacred ritual. A daily reminder that you are not owned by comfort or craving or convenience. Every time you lean into discomfort, you're forging something deeper: resilience, grit, control. You're building a mind that doesn't panic when things go wrong, a heart that doesn't fold under pressure, a soul that doesn't flinch in the face of pain. Because when you've trained in hunger, fear cannot manipulate you with scarcity. When you've endured the cold by choice, life cannot break you with sudden storms. When you've faced silence, you no longer need noise to feel alive. You become immune to shock. You become fearless. You become free. The Stoics knew that the man who trains in discomfort lives prepared. He doesn't need everything to go his way, because he is ready either way. That's true confidence. That's real power. And it's built, not born. Seneca didn't say those words from a place of theory. He practiced them. He stripped himself of luxury. He wore rough clothes. He lived poor by choice, not because he had to, but because he knew what weakness costs. And so should you. Train like a soldier. Discipline your mind like a warrior. Get up when you don't want to. Do what's hard when it's optional. Choose the path most avoid, because that's the path that forges strength. You don't need comfort. You need courage. You don't need luxury. You need willpower. Because the world doesn't care if you're comfortable. It only respects if you're capable. And when you master discomfort, you become exactly that. Unbreakable, unshakable, unstoppable. That's voluntary discomfort. That's the Stoic edge. Number 4, say less, do more. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." That one sentence destroys excuses. The Stoic doesn't talk, he acts. Because talk is cheap. Words are wind. The world is full of people making promises they never intend to keep. They talk about discipline, success, greatness, but never live it. The Stoic is different. He moves in silence. He lets action speak. He doesn't seek validation. He doesn't need to be understood. He's too busy building. When others are debating, he's doing. When others are announcing their plans, he's executing his mission. This habit, say less, do more, makes you a force. Let people think you're quiet, reserved, ordinary. Let them underestimate you. That's your weapon. While they talk, you train. While they wait, you act. While they hope, you create. You don't need to prove anything with your mouth. Your results speak louder than anything you could say. The Stoic is not concerned with being heard. He's concerned with being effective. In a world addicted to attention, the Stoic becomes dangerous through discipline. He's the man who shows up when it's hard, who works when no one is watching, who finishes what he starts. You want confidence? Keep the promises you make to yourself. You want respect? Stop seeking it and start earning it. Every time you act instead of talk, your power multiplies. Every time you move in silence, your self-worth deepens. You don't need applause. You need consistency. You don't need noise. You need execution. So every day, ask yourself, what would the most disciplined version of me do right now? Then go do it, without delay, without explanation, without hesitation. Do it with no one watching. Do it when it's boring. Do it when no one cares. That's how strength is built. The Stoics knew this. They didn't perform for attention. They performed for virtue. Epictetus didn't talk about being strong. He became strong through pain. Seneca didn't post his goals. He lived them. Marcus Aurelius didn't tweet quotes. He wrote wisdom in a journal no one was meant to see. That's real power. That's real growth. You don't need to be loud. You need to be lethal. You don't need to tell the world you're coming. You need to arrive, silent, focused, unstoppable. Because in the end, the quietest man in the room is often the most dangerous. He's not loud because he's busy building. He doesn't explain because his results will. Be that man. Say less. Do more. Let the world wonder how you did it, while you keep doing more. Number 5. Control your environment. Epictetus said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. You can't build a strong mind in a weak environment. You can't rise while surrounded by people who expect you to stay small. You can't lead your life if your surroundings are leading you into distraction, laziness, and doubt." The Stoic knows this, so he becomes ruthless about what he allows in his space. Your environment is either feeding your power or draining it. There is no neutral ground. Every voice you hear, every habit you repeat, every influence you allow is shaping you. Most people live passively, letting chaos seep into their lives through open doors, loud people, toxic media, junk habits, endless distractions. But a Stoic slams those doors shut. They don't wait for peace. They create it. Audit your circle. Who sharpens your edge? Who dulls your ambition? Who leaves you better after every conversation? And who leaves you doubting your worth? Be honest, then act. Cut out the noise. Remove what weakens you. Eliminate what breaks your focus or pollutes your mind. Curate your space with the same intensity you would guard a fortress. This is war, and your peace is the prize. Your home, your habits, your mental inputs, design them with intent. Because discipline cannot grow in disorder. Focus dies in a loud room. Purpose fades in the presence of chaos. Your environment must reflect your mission. Your surroundings should remind you who you are and who you're becoming. If something doesn't align with your higher self, it doesn't belong. This isn't cruelty, it's clarity. This isn't coldness, it's commitment. The people you allow into your world should echo your values. The habits you tolerate should move you forward, not hold you back. The space you walk through daily should make you feel powerful, not passive. Build a temple, not a circus. Your mind will mirror your surroundings. If you want silence, create silence. If you want growth, build a garden for it. If you want strength, remove anything that softens your spirit. Be deliberate, be fierce, be protective of your energy. Because you are not just the product of your thoughts, you are the product of your environment. And if you want to win in life, you must control the battlefield. When you do that, you become untouchable. You become clear. You become focused. And you win the war before it even begins. Number 6, practice negative visualization. Marcus Aurelius said, "Begin each day by telling yourself, 'Today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness.'" That wasn't pessimism. That was armor. The Stoics didn't fantasize about perfect days. They prepared for battle. They knew life wouldn't go their way, and instead of whining about it, they trained their minds to expect resistance. This is the practice of negative visualization, the art of imagining loss, setbacks, and struggle, not to create fear, but to destroy it. It's not about being negative. It's about being unbreakable. Because when you can stare your worst fears in the face and say, "I can handle that," you rob fear of its power. You stop living in anxiety and start living in presence. Most people walk through life praying nothing goes wrong. The Stoic walks through life prepared to face whatever does. That's strength. That's discipline. That's real confidence. Every morning, picture the worst. Not to suffer, but to strengthen. What if you lost your job, your money, your comfort? What if the people you love turned against you? What if you had to rebuild from nothing? Would you collapse, or would you rise? When you practice loss in your mind, you become grateful for what you still have. When you anticipate setbacks, you stop being shocked by them. You start responding with calm instead of panic. This mental training sharpens your emotional edge. It turns chaos into clarity. It replaces soft expectations with hard truth, and from that truth, you build real power. The Stoics believed that fear was a product of the imagination, so they used the imagination against itself. They visualized the pain and disarmed it. They visualized the worst and walked through life fearless. Because when you've already faced it in your mind, nothing can surprise you. You've seen yourself fall. You've seen yourself lose. And in every scenario, you've also seen yourself rise. That's the point, to stop being afraid of pain by becoming intimate with it. To stop being enslaved by comfort by reminding yourself how little you truly need. You don't become tough by wishing life was easy. You become tough by knowing it won't be and showing up anyway. Train like a warrior. See the hits coming. Practice loss, discomfort, betrayal, not because you want it, but because you're strong enough to handle it. That's what separates the Stoic from the crowd. They don't crumble when life breaks pattern. They remain steady because they've already been here, in the mind, in the spirit, in the heart. They've already rehearsed every storm. So when the sky turns dark, they don't panic. They perform. This is how fear dies. This is how power is born. You don't become powerful by avoiding pain. You become powerful by preparing for it. And when you do, life stops controlling you because you've already taken control of your mind. These Stoic habits aren't theories. They're tools. Weapons for the warrior who refuses to be a victim. Use them. Practice them. Live them. Master your emotions. Be brutally honest with yourself. Train in discomfort. Say less. Do more. Control your environment. Visualize the worst so you're ready for anything. Because the truth is, strength isn't given. It's built. You weren't born unbreakable. You become unbreakable. One choice at a time. One habit at a time. One day at a time. This is how you stop being manipulated by fear, by doubt, by weakness. This is how you rise. And if this video lit something up inside you, don't keep that fire to yourself. Hit that like button. Drop your favorite Stoic habit in the comments. And subscribe to Stoicism Reborn. Because this isn't just a channel, it's a movement. We're not here to blend in with the noise. We're here to build warriors of the mind. People who stand tall in the storm. People who train their mindset like a weapon. People like you. Your mind is your power. Your discipline is your edge. Your habits are your armor. Build them like your life depends on it. Because it does. This is your reminder. You are capable. You are resilient. And you were born to rise. See you in the next one.